you'll be president until Ousainou Darboe dies. And after he dies, you will go to his funeral to make sure that he has died, actually died and buried. And then that's when you will, say, you know what, I am done with the presidency. Musa, we used to have conversations during the Senegalese elections.
Yeah.
And we used to hear them say some crazy things. And I remember you and I would say to ourselves, you know what, this is something that our Gambians would never say. They would never. You will never hear a Gambian politician going this far. Like the Sagantende, Farman Goma. There was some guy who called on Sagante or whatever. We used to say, you know what, you will never hear them go to this land. But to hear Adama Barrow say that, when I heard it, I spoke to you. Yeah. And I said, I was not too sure because to me, I'm like, no, maybe they just making it. I had to listen to it again to just make sure that, you know what, this is actually what I was hearing. Musa, and the sad part more here, it is high time for the real Adama Barrow to stand up. Because this is the same Adama Barrow who organized a national conference at the State House. And the objective was to cool down the political temperature. This is the same Adama Barrow that we saw at the National Assembly shaking Ousainou Darboe's hand. And people were talking about, oh, you see, don't allow these politicians to get you all angry because they are all together or whatever. But Musa, what Adama Barrow say is something that you will not even say to your worst enemies. To tell them, you know what, I'm going, as long as you are alive, I'll be president. The only time I'm going to stop being president is when you die. And even after you die, I'll have to go to your funeral and make sure that you are dead before I give up the presidency. What about if something were to happen to Mr. Darboe today? Where would Adama Barrow be? To me, it's disgusting, it's despicable, it's unpresidential. And I think the more Adama Barrow speaks, the more we see the true Adama Barrow. To me, that's my initial reaction to this. It's just utter nonsense.
Yeah. When you called me last night and you told me about it, myself, always, I'm like, no, he cannot say that. I'm like, maybe it's context. Send me, let me listen to it. You send it to me, I listen to it, I'm like, no, my Mandinka is not Sanaya. I need to send it to other people. People do not necessarily, like I didn't send it to my UDP folks. I'm like, let me send it to independent people that can listen to in Mandinka. And Pasamba, you talk about disgusting, but this is so on culture. In our culture and our religion, we don't talk like that. Whatever the context is, this man, so you see, Republicans will always say, Trump is his worst enemy. When he starts speaking, that's when you begin to see how weird and mean-spirited this person is. And Adama Barrow, what he did, there's not a single person, even his advisors, cannot spin this thing away. I don't know what led him to say stuff like that. Does he really hate the man like that? Really? Does he really? Or is it just sheer cluelessness that sometimes people accuse him of? Or is it that thin skin that he would go out there, whatever Mr. Darboe must have said or didn't say? Why would you say that? Why would you really say that? I really want to understand that. Neo, first of all, are you wishing him to die? And what makes you think, Neo, he's going to die before you?
And the contract too.
You call yourself a Muslim. There's a reason why we do not, when it comes to death, Muslims are very careful the way they go about it, because ultimately is in the hands of God. It's not in your hands. That is why when people passed away, bad or baby criminals, call them whatever, murderers, nit ñi dañ dee mandu ci li ñu wax ci ki nga xam ne dafa passed away. I am not sure why he said that. But that was mean-spirited. And I don't even know, why would anyone say that to somebody? This was, you call him your father, your party leader. You said the same thing. At the National Assembly, you shake his hands with smiles. I mean, most Gambians were appreciative of it because we believe that their relationship sometimes can be toxic to our politics and the Gambia and the future of the country. Like you said, he had a gathering saying that let's change our politics. You, of all people, stand there and be talking about basically wishing the man to die. Dem nga ci bàmmeel ba mu xam ne dee na, then yow nga door a relinquish the presidency. What kind of nonsense is that? Look of jar. I think, I'm telling you, man, I think he needs to do something. Really. Really. Call it, walk it back, call it seriously. Because what he did was not even just someone who misspoke. What he did was uncultured. What he did was against the very religion that he believes in. I don't know what the motivation is. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is who he is. When he gets on the podium, he gets excited, people clap for him, and he goes off tangent. What is this obsession with Mr. Darboe? What is the obsession? Well, he should know by now that his main Achilles heels, and I'm talking politically speaking, that is when he began to make it about Mr. Darboe. He always would fall on his own sword. And it's unfortunate. While in def nonu lay mom. Suma yaay mo daan wax ne waxkat dina wax pel lamba tata mi sane du suma boss.
Muy degget.
And this was a very bad, ugly statement. Come anybody, even a regular person, people will call it for what it is, especially from a head of state. This is bad. This was really horrible. I don't even know what led him to say something like that.
That's who he is.
Brother Marong.
All right, Musa. First of all, I must acknowledge you dress up very well today. So,
yes, my brother. I'm going to this prayer service for Calvary. You know, the gentleman that passed away last week.
Okay, I heard.
Okay. So they're having a prayer service. I'm going imam bi funjar dem fa ak suma kurus bu gudda. Après ñu bokk ci am na wàcce kamil la am na ñoo xam ne sariyan they will not get anywhere close to that. Parce que suñ fa jegeñee dañuy jël kamil jox leen te su boobaa they will not. But somebody like me, I have to be there jël ci bàcc yi, you know.
Saying that you dress up doesn't necessarily. The goal was not to jab at someone else. That was not the intent. But anyhow, I hear you all, and I think in as much as you guys are outraged, I am outraged too.
I'm sure.
But Musa, this goes beyond. Just the utterances. And even last week, I was monitoring Facebook and everything, and the passing of the torch to Biden to Harris.
Mm-hmm.
It creates this conversation on social media, and I think Seni Marina is the one who triggered it. I mean, he wrote a provocative statement saying that we must learn from the Gambia. What can Gambia learn from the United States? And he gets all these reactions and counter reaction, and I think I feel sorry for Barrow, and I kind of tells who he is as a human being. The Gambia, our homeland, is in the midst of crisis, leadership crisis. And this is why we've seen a lot of people are dying. We've seen, in fact, 2 days before he goes on to his rally, we've heard about 150 young folks perish in the sea. They died. There is flooding in Gambia. And him coming to that podium, not acknowledging, 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 not ackn that, you know, it's a sad day for all of us as Gambians because we lost some young folks through this bad, this backway journey. He hasn't done that. Brikama, before he goes in there was flooding. We see Yanks and everybody with the truck, you know, trying to get water out of the market. He did not acknowledge that. Prior to that, he set up a commission. Everyone out is outraged. Roll out the salaries, 145,000 a month. Folks who could now provide for themselves were outraged. Police officers. But he did it because he can. And the central conversation that all of us, respective of who you are, he said it. He said he's going to be there till Ousainou dies. What does that say? We have a new constitution that we're talking about. We need to be in place. This man is obviously telling us, I don't care. I'm going to put my finger in your eyes. I'm not going nowhere. And if that happened, I think all of us needs to take a step back and reflect. It's not, you know, business as usual anymore. This man is ready. I mean, he telegraphed his strategy to us. The thinking of we're not going to move, we're not going to change strategy, we're not going to have this conversation in our inner circle. I think the strategy needs to shift. We need to take him on. And I think if we take him on, we need to ensure that the presidency or the leadership, Adam Barrow, stops and once and for all. He doesn't care. He doesn't. If you call someone an elder, my father, no one would do that, man. No one would say such a thing.
Nobody would.
But this is the man who's been doing this. He's surrounded himself. Every single thing that people care about, including TRRC, he doesn't care about it. He doesn't. He put those at the back burner. Within 7 years, the debt is about 110 billion, more than Jawara and Yaya Jammeh combined. There is nothing. Everything that he brings in, he set up a ridiculous commission for that matter. And we have names who thinks more about themselves, their well-being, than the masses. And I think we just kind of need to step back. You know, I know the conversation is hard, everyone is emotional, but how do we take this man on? How do we stop his presidency? I'm not talking about violence, because you know what? I don't care about coup d'etats anymore. Mm-hmm. But I think he has inflicted damage on himself and his leadership. He has destroyed the institutions that's supposed to hold all of us accountable and propel our country forward. No, he hasn't. He has over and over and over and over and over. This man doesn't care. He doesn't care. He forged alliances with the worst party because of political expediency. And now I think the strategy needs to shift a little bit. It doesn't need to be personal. We are all Gambians and everyone should be average. If you care about our peaceful coexistence, you should be average. If you care about strengthening our democratic gains, you should be average. If you really think Gambia is bigger than one person, and if you really, really care about the never again mantle, you should be average. You should be average. This has been ongoing for a while. The guy doesn't care. He doesn't care where the money comes from. He set up this ridiculous commission. Let's tabulate how much money that's going to cost. Who is going to foot that bill? Nobody told. But you know what? He has a rubber stamp name. They are so useless, so inconsequential. They increase our debt size, and there is no end in sight. We are helpless. Our backs are against the wall. We've been squeezed. Now we need to come together. I've seen people. I mean, I'm not gonna take this thing one side. Even when Saini said that stuff, I was outraged some comments saying that, oh, no. Gambia doesn't have that problem. Biden was sick. That's why Democrat. That's not true. We know that that's not true. But I think the conversation needs to go beyond that. We need to have an honest conversation. Who can we put forward that's going to defeat Barrow fairly and squarely? I think that's what needs to happen. This man is dangerous. He's not stopping. He mean what he says. He's just telling us that, you know what? You know, what's the Constitution? Because if we put the new Constitution, that says 2-term limits, right? Okay? But he's saying that, no, he's going to rule. We heard this before. And it kind of brings this Yaya Jammeh mantra. If we can handle Yaya Jammeh and defeat him, I think Barrow could be defeated squarely. And I don't care what the IGP said. I mean, he stood there. He thinks he has some type of moral authority. He can police moral policing. How about your president, your boss, who sat down there and threatened? What do you have to say to that? I'm telling you, if the president is not measured, if the president doesn't reflect on his rhetoric, the president who really think he has more to lose, the position that he occupied, it becomes us against them. And I think this kind of states, and I think that his supporters, when he was saying this, the people behind him, I didn't see a single person clapping, because I think they were taken aback on such foolishness, wickedness, and vindictiveness. He is very vindictive, and we need to put him back where he belongs. He can't rule this country like this. It's already divided. When you hear Nigeria, the president gave a very measured speech about cutting the size of government.
They're denying that. Don't quote that speech. The president is denying that speech that they floated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But even not Nigeria, but like Burkina Faso, Senegal, everybody's cutting back. And I wanted to take measure whereby, you know, where they got, but this man doesn't. He keep passing this legislation, passing this, and there should be an end in sight. And that end in sight is not business as usual. Our strategy and our thinking needs to shift a little bit, whereby we, the people, collectively, will come together and defeat him. And I think that is my message.
Well, here is the thing. Before coming together and defeating him, the Gambian people must deal with the situation that we have now. Musa, for too long, we have given Barrow a pass. Every outrageous, ridiculous statement that he has made, we have tried to explain it as to what we thought he meant. And this is not the first time that he said something like this. We remember the rally in Birkama, where they were threatening to spray hot water on would-be 3-year Jotna protesters. I don't know whether you guys remember that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We remember his remarks about my guy, Mari, at the State House. But every time he says something, we'll say, well, you know what, I don't think it's that serious also. But it looks like the family, you give him a yard, he takes a mile. So because every time he says something, we say, you know what, but I don't think it was that serious. It's just politics. He goes to another level. And I think now he has reached the level that is really beyond the pale. And here is the thing, though, because if you are the president and you said that this is the contract I have signed, who have you signed the contract with? And what contract is that? You are the head of state and commander-in-chief of all security forces in that country. A country that came out of a dictatorship just how many years ago? 7 years ago? Where the president would sit and tell us, I'll send people 6 feet deep and all that stuff. So sometimes when you are a leader, unfortunately, this is what we're dealing with. your speeches must be based on perspective. You have to look at a situation and say, you know what, this is where we came from. I'm not going to say anything that would open the wounds of yesterday. And when people like myself jump and use the possibility of dictatorship, we are accused of overreacting. But the overreaction is not out of a vacuum. It is because of where we came from and the fear that there are people who will readily do anything that Barrow would ask them to do. If Barrow were to give orders today, right now as we speak, to the IGP that go and arrest Ousainou Darboe for no reason, Ousainou Darboe's compound would be raided and he would be picked up. So you have a security force that is still at the whim and caprices of the president. So meaning that we are at a very dangerous situation. Musa, I know you accuse me every time when I say nyoradi that I say that everybody is nyoradi, but nit ku nyor du wax lu Barrow wax. You have to be either nyoradi or absolutely vindictive, and I've accused him of being vindictive and thin-skinned before. This is the same guy who had a meeting and was ridiculing and making fun of prisoners, political prisoners. Ousainou Darboe and others. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna buy Falbi Molon Sikar. You know, boom, you know, he is the most insensitive person in that country. This guy has never shown any regard for victims. Everything that he has done is because it was forced on him to be done. Out of his free will, he would not do it. It is always the international community that is pushing him, or when the coalition government just came and said, you know what, these commissions need to be established, he did not have his political footing there. And you surround yourself with people who have known nothing but to cheer abuse and dictatorship. And what do you expect you're going to have? And you see, when you say something, they say, oh, UDP this, Darboe that, Darboe this, I'm going guy UDP itam. That's what you will hear this. I'm going guy UDP itam. But that's not the issue. The issue is when you are the head of state. Musa Jeng is the head of the family in his compound. You cannot excuse Musa Jeng's statements by what his son says or does, because he should know better. And his statements are more consequential than anybody else's. If Ousainou Darboe had said this today about Barrow, there's a great chance that the police would have caught him. Why was our boy, what's his name?
Ibrahima
Diba arrested?
Yeah.
Why was he arrested? Because he responded to Barrow and called him what? Neyarwood or something like that. And they said he was insulted. He insulted Barrow. What is this that we just saw? Musa, I have lived in this country for so long. Donald Trump is the most uncouth, the most dangerous, the rudest person that I've ever seen ever in my life. But I don't think he has even hit that level yet. This level? No, Donald has not hit it yet. Of all people. And you know, Donald is one person who doesn't care what he says about anybody or anything. He would come and call you names and all that stuff. But what Barrow did, and I hope too, and I have to say this to my brother and friend, Dr. Ismail Assisi. Microphones will be put before you. And I hope that your answers will be guided by conscience and not the attitude of just defending or dismissing anything that comes. Because one thing that you cannot do is to lose yourself and become a Baghdad Bob. Just as you look for the position that you have, how to strengthen it and all that stuff. What Barrow is doing is the most dangerous thing in our country. Because if a president, because this incitement, if anybody responds to him in kind, what do you expect would happen? And I've seen people, and I in fact was listening to Rohilo's message to President Barrow. I hope he listens to that. Because Darboe does not deserve this treatment. And let's just be fair. I don't care if you hate him or not. He does not deserve this. Listen, there are some certain people in that country, Musa, that do not deserve this disrespect that is coming from Barrow.
Definitely.
Without Darboe's sacrifice,
Yeah.
without Halifa's sacrifice, without even Ahmad Ba's sacrifice, and without all these people who put their lives on the line for over decades, 2 decades, to confront a dictatorship that you, President Barrow, was too timid to come out and confront openly, you would have never become the president of that country. You ne lek su leke alom war na ko gërëmee coy.
Yeah.
If Darboe had not gone to jail, let's just be fair. Darboe could have been selfish when Solo Sendeng was killed and said, you know what, we'll go to the courts, we'll challenge this, I'm not going to go out. He could have done that, and it would have been acceptable. But he put his life on the line and said, I am going to demand for Solo Sendeng's body, dead or alive.
Yeah.
That was why Darboe was arrested. That was why Kemeseng was arrested. That was Femi Peters was arrested. That was why all these old people, who most of whom died because of the treatment that they got from those arrests, went out. The Nambodibas and all these people, they were much older than Barrow. Barrow was there. When Darboe said, you know what, all the leadership would go, the genius would stay, he could have said, no. The leadership should stay because you guys are old. We, the genius, we are going to lead the fight. He did not do that.
No.
If Solo Sendeng had not sacrificed and gone out there and got killed, Ousainou would not have gone out to demand for his body, leading to his arrest and jailing, leading to Barrow eventually become president.
Yeah.
If the Halifas, the CDS, the Sams, the Kemeseng Jamens, the OJ Jalos, and all these people did not sacrifice their lives and their livelihoods for the liberation of that country, we would not be talking about President Adama Barrow today. In fact, if UDP was intact, Adama Barrow would have been never part of the conversation. So don't disrespect these people, Mr. President. Understand what brought you to the presidency. Not this silly guys who was hell-bent on making sure that you will never become a president. And I can guarantee one thing today, Mr. President. If UDP wins the election tomorrow, 2026, Sirijai would find a way of telling the world how related he is to Ousainou Darboe or whoever the leader of the UDP is. And you will see him crawl and be part of those people. The people that are surrounding you. You had one of them in your midst. When the opportunity happened, what happened? They ran to where they were going to butter their bread. Do not disrespect these people. They do not deserve it. And what you did is despicable. And if you are decent, a decent human being, you should come before the whole nation and apologize, not only to Mr. Darboe, but every victim that you've disrespected since you took power, including sitting there and laughing at people who sacrificed their lives so that you can become a president. This is ridiculous. Most.
Yeah. What in God's name can I add to that? Most of the time when we have controversial issues like that, I like to operate in the margins and talk about context. The man hasn't given me that. The hand that Barrow showed, as far as that speech is concerned, there is not a decent human being that could even begin to rationalize it, because it's not something to be rationalized. You see, when you talk about leadership, and that is why electing a leader is so important. I'm not in the business of saying that we get leaders from people that are educated. But you see, it is very important to have that experience, to have that, whether you have a master's or PhD or whatever you want to call it. I think it's important. It is also important to be very exposed, to be wally, to understand the world and life. It's important when electing a leader. We need somebody exposure, experience, and education. I think it's absolutely important. When you lack that, then you have a tendency of reacting the way the president tends to react most of the time, especially when he's on the what I would call the bully pulpit. He goes off tangent. He says things without being very analytical to it. People are saying that, you see, he surrounds himself with guy APRC. No, I don't think guy APRC there the one's telling him to say the things that he's saying. I don't believe that for a minute. I just don't. What you hear coming from Barrow is an angry man who did not like what Mr. Darboe said. Now let's cut to the chase and get to the gist of the matter, because what he said did not come out of an isolation. He was mad because Mr. Darboe talked about the land deal. So all this time, so you could say that this is premeditated, not off the cuff. You make a remark, it's off the cuff, and sometimes you can excuse that. I don't think this was an off the cuff remark. I think this remark had a lot to do with the man getting very angry, becoming very vindictive, thin-skinned, because you have to, when you listen to the speech, it has a lot to do with the land allocation, and the Chief Justice, and he make all his rationalization why he has every right for this land. And then bang, he come up with this statement, unfortunately. A statement that, like you said, Pasamba, how is he supposed to react? Are they just going to sit there thinking that, well, it will just go away? Oh, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. Maybe he needs to step up. And I want to come back to Sariang basically saying, okay, we know who this man is. Not only is he a threat to our democracy, but even is a threat to our own, the viability of the country. And that we need to make sure, and he made it very clear, that he's not talking about violence to bring about change, but that change has to happen. And I think independent-minded and they're very in the future, he's basically saying we need to do something about it. In other words, we need to bring about change come 2026. And if we do not get our house in order, we will not be able to bring about that fundamental change. Because this is not going to be the last time. And if anybody thinks this statement somehow will lose him votes, think again. I'm serious. Our people have a tendency. There was a reason why, yes, there were some people that were taken aback, but there were some people that were clapping. Either they didn't hear him out or they didn't let it marinate. But these are just supporters. And whatever he said, they just react. But any Muslim, any Christian, any decent human being would be galled by statements like that. But maybe because I'm afraid of death, I would never say a statement like that. But it's unfortunate that the president is not the most exposed person. His experience was basically, and that is not to put down on people that are into, renting houses and things like that. But sometimes your experience would challenge you, prepare you for jobs like this, decision making, and things like that, analytical. I don't think he has that exposure, and it's unfortunate. He never had the experience. Like you said, we all know how we got here. We didn't get to Barrow overnight. And you see, I know there are a lot of people that contributed to, to liberate the country and bring about the change. We all wanted Jammeh to go. But my friend, like Pasamba, you said, Mr. Darboe was basically one of the captains of that ship, maybe one of the most important captains. I remember when we were reading the results in 2016. You remember that? Live and direct? We know the states that were falling in line. We know if it were in for, there was a reason why Barrow from them the campaign. He talked about Ousainou's incarceration and that Ousainou needs to be released. And the only way is if we get rid of Jammeh. Whatever the man said to you, Danko Wara Amal at least is an elderly statesman. He contributed immensely. Nobody can take that away from him, whether you like the man or not. I come here every other Sunday and I get on UDP in Ousainou. But you cannot disrespect this man. You just cannot do that. And I think his obsession with Ousainou does not help our country at all, unfortunately. I don't know where this obsession is coming from. I don't believe for a minute people are advising him, around him, telling him, no. This is Barrow. For who he is, his reaction is vindictive, thin skin. That's what it is. Plain and simple. Sometimes when we try to, in Gambian here, we have that tendency to, when a leader doesn't do something right, why have advisors on me? No, man. It's not like advisors. You're going to tell him what to say. I don't believe that. I don't think this hidden guys and the Fabaka has anything to do with it. I wanted to, Sariang mentioned something, and maybe we're going to look into that. And that is this this media commission that was just formed. I know we all want to make sure that the media is such an important tool as far as our democracy is concerned, and that having a commission is important. But bro, do you see the compensation, the remuneration, they call it, for these commissioners? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, why are we paying? I mean, at work, I'm an accountant, and I do engage in HR work whereby we look at compensation. How much do we pay a front desk clerk? How much do we pay this person or that person? And to do that, there are a lot of things that the HR office would do. You want to see what the competition is. You want to see the market. There are a lot of evaluations and things like that to determine keenly this position, how much money should we pay this position. And I'm looking at, we never had did we have a media commission before? Maybe we did. Pastor, maybe you can help me out. I don't know whether we ever had that before. But the gross salary of this chairperson of this commission is $146,000 per month. $146,000. Now, why would we pay that kind of money to a chairperson of a media commission? I need somebody to educate me. I don't know much about these things. But I don't know whether I would pay that. Sariang, you're a businessman. You have a helper at your place. I'm a businessman. I have my banquet hall. I'm not gonna be paying money like that. 146,000. That's just the basic salary. This includes, well, okay, 146,000 per month. This includes a basic salary of 29,000, responsibility allowance of 50,000, professional allowance of 13,000. I don't know what that is. Residency allowance of 23,000, utility allowance of 15,000, telephone allowance of 5,500, retention allowance of 11,000, domestic service allowance of 55. Now, but this allowance is National Assembly members. They're not the only ones guilty of this. And I don't know.
It's a scam.
It's a scam
because the allowances are not taxed.
Why would I forget about whether they are taxed or not? Why would I pay that kind of money to a job like that? For what?
And how much are they paying them for sitting allowance too?
How often are they? I don't know. I am telling you, looking at our country, the economy, and why would we make that kind of a decision? Are you telling me we cannot have a media commission without this kind of compensation?
And why do you in fact have to have Nene McDowell-Gay as the chair?
Then you begin to, you're getting to another level. Why was this person handpicked? I mean, these were the very enablers of Jammeh. For whatever reason, she was able to be handpicked. Who does she know? Nothing against, I mean, I don't even know the lady. Maybe she's a nice lady. But looking at her,
niceness does not qualify. At some point,
no, what I'm saying is, No, what I'm saying is, the point that I'm trying to make is, I don't know the lady.
Yes, I understand.
Maybe it's a nice lady. I don't know. But looking at her public profile, this was a lady that was out there defending Jammeh for 20-something years. So I have a problem with giving her the job. Secondly, my fundamental problem is I would not be paying that kind of money to this so-called media commission. I'm telling you, I don't think that the Gambia is going to get anything out of that. You could find decent people. No, Hamne. I mean, some of these things should be part-time jobs. They shouldn't be like compensating them for like there is no tomorrow. I don't understand it. I seriously don't. And finally, where I'm going to conclude, it's what Sariang said, and I think that's where the focus should be. In other words, until the rain, until the cows come home. One thing that we will never be able to do is that the focus should be, how do we bring about change in 2026? And if we do not face it head on, Barrow will be re-elected. And we will be talking about this until 2030. I can guarantee you that. And it's unfortunate. And I hope, Mr. Barrow, with this statement, you go out there with your imams and people that you believe in and walk it back. And not only that, they make it Ousainou Darboe because I don't know what I said, but I don't think you deserve that. He needs to do something differently and boldly. Not because of, to kind of, just for himself politically, no. To sanitize the country. That this is the country, this is not where we are. And the man doesn't deserve that. That he doesn't deserve. Seriously. And that means that if I want to solve Dalami, then Beker Ousainou Darboe mutubalko. In our culture, that's what we do. When you wrong people, especially an elderly man who has sacrificed immensely, danko tubal, nit ku bah non la def. For real. I really believe that. Now, whether he is something.
Musa, I hear you, but I think for my part, we're not blaming the advisors. But as I said before this event, there was a lot of things that happened. It's more of an aggregate of, summing the last straw that he did in Brikama. And I think the question comes to play, because I'm just going to say, if I was an advisor, all these commissions that you said, I mean, we have to reflect a little bit, because a week ago,
correct,
there was a demonstration at the National Assembly because of these hikes. So all of a sudden, I mean, why would you really put someone in place? The job was not advertised. I don't know where it was advertised. As you said, it was handpicked and someone put it into with 145,000.
It's a lot of money.
And when folks came out to the National Assembly, the people, the voters, the citizens say, we are outraged. So I think if these advisors are doing, and they are capable, they put country before self, not be puppets to Barrow. You could have said, hey, Mr. President, this is not the right time to do this. I think we need to put this in the back burner. I mean, even the whole continuation of, I'm not even going to talk about the ferry, because I think that is ridiculous and it boils my blood pressure off of the roof, because I really think what they did, and that's why you've seen the ferry service giving some ridiculous press releases, and the government cannot back it up, right? So I think this whole thing was like from one thing to another, from one point to another, and Musa, the country is in dire straits. The fact of the matter is, people are getting poor. The injustice, the imbalances, economic justice, the people's livelihood. And I'm talking about the rainy season.
Yeah.
It has impacted even the ladies that grow vegetables and wants to sell at the local market to get those proceeds and go back to their family to cook a good and decent meal. They've been impacted. What is the response plan? He put a national disaster agency. What are their job? What can they do? What is their value? What their value added to ongoing challenges to resolve it, to respond? And I kind of lay out even the back door. The backway syndrome. I mean, we got 150 kids that Paris. I mean, starting that he didn't acknowledge. And you're talking about the land allocation. The land allocation is true. We found out that it was given to him, and that's not. And anything that Mr. Darboe said, what is not factual about that? It's a fact. And the most decent thing, an honorable thing for him to do was, you know what? Yes, I had properties. I'm going to return this. That's what you need to do and move away from it. Right? But no, this is a man who came in. He said he has $270 million in his bank account. That's what he said when he declared his assets in 2021. He has compounds upon compounds. I mean, we all know before he came to the president, he doesn't have that. He doesn't. Because you and Musa was on the call, Coach was on the call, Tukulor and everybody else, when the coalition was kind of like, oh, this is our budget. You guys need to help us to come up with this money. So him sitting down there and saying that, oh, before this, I am rich. And I mean, it's just far from fact. He likes to exaggerate. But one thing I am more concerned about is, Musa, you need to, as you all said, he needs to have respect.
Yeah.
Barrow's presidency doesn't come out of vacuum.
No.
People's blood and sweat came out. That's what urges him. Well, if he aligned himself with people that he felt that him and them share some political interest, fine. But don't put a country on fire. I mean, think about it. What he said today. Darboe has kids. I know they're not going to do it, but how about if they respond?
Exactly.
They respond with type of vile and vindictiveness. Is the IGP going to say we're going to arrest them because they insult the president? How about the president insulting an elderly statesman? Dafa nyaka yar. Lola, that's the truth.
They want to go dig it.
Nyaka yar, nyaka tegin, lola mota muta from the wah lulu nyaka fighter. Te Barrow dañ ko wara tek palasam. To lolu moy dega. Lolu moy dega. I mean, the fact is, we need to put him first of all, most of us, when they've announced his name, we don't even know whether he's a man or a woman. For God's sake. So the fact that this man sits there every single time, he has control over this. And the presidency, Musa, you talk about education, but it's not hard for you to kind of measure your tone. He's a human being. He's a human being, for God's sake. He needs to measure. He's the president of the republic. One day, everything that Barrow said, he doesn't think through. He doesn't, his own folks who work for him, he doesn't decipher stuff. He's incapable of it. So why do we have him there? I mean, why do we need to keep fighting each other every time? No, this man is a threat. And I'm telling you, to our humanity, to our families and our community. He's incapable to steering Gambia in a different direction. I don't care. He can build all the things that he wants. But the life and livelihood of the citizens are impacted. Go look at those roads. They are full because everything that they build, they don't put their heart and soul into it. All they do is kick back. What is in for me? A contractor can do a mediocre job. They will sign off on it and pay that contract because at the end of the day, they have millions that goes into their pocket. There's flooding everywhere. The drainage system is not working. We've seen it. And if you talk about, one thing about his MPP supporters, I think all of you need to reflect. All of you need to reflect. What kind of Gambia do we want to see?
They will not do that.
Do we want to see a Gambia whereby a president keep bullying, a president who is dishonest, who is greedy, think more about himself, his family, who brings Gambia 2.0 squarely into the play, into our own hands. Barrow is nothing but Gambia 2.0. He is selfish. He's doing everything possible. This is why he's putting the Njogu bars in Pura getting all these other people in place because this is what he wants. He doesn't want people who needs to hold him accountable. A president needs to have a thick skin. If Darboe challenge him on the land allocation, he needs to come in and convince, or even what Ahmed Ba said is more confusing, and he kind of plays into the part what Darboe said. They haven't come up with no evidence. But you go in there and chest pounding, swearing to God Almighty that, he's going to die before you leave the president. What kind of nonsense is that? What kind of nonsense is that? And it's so disrespectful. Darboe is an elderly statesman. If you're not going to say that to your uncle or your stepdad, you should not say that to him. That's just a fact. But it's completely rudeness. A president who doesn't show cordiality. He doesn't. All he does is pomposity, and his outrageous comments just to further divide our country. And I think it's ridiculous, and everyone should be outraged about this.
And I think a lot of people are outraged about it. I can guarantee you that.
I think most people are even shocked that, in fact, this would come, because swing politics is, in fact, interesting. I listened to Balaji of all people, and he was condemning this and calling this the lowest lowest of our political period. But it just shows you, it's like every corner of that country, people are no. You cannot just say this. And Musa, you said something about experience and education. That is true.
And exposure.
That is true. But there's a guy who was exposed. He went to Europe, who took 9 buses to go to work and come back. In fact, we were also told he had a degree in real estate.
When we talk about exposure, the quality of exposure, I think it matters.
No, but what I'm saying, Musa,
the quality of education matters. Experience, the same thing. Your challenges in life will prepare you, Pasamba, for job. Like the most important thing for a leader, decision making. And I'm telling you, decision making is very difficult, extremely difficult. Only good leaders are going to look at issues, their complexities, and be very decisive and make a decision. When you get leaders, amun experience, amun expose them, their decision making is going to be very bad, and that country will never be able to.
But I understand, Lumahni. This is a guy who was also traveled. He took 9 buses to go to work, was working for almost 15 hours, had, 2 hours to sleep or whatever. He did that. If you listen to him, he built his business to become the millionaire that he is. He is the one who claimed to have financed the whole election that we financed. He did it. Nobody gave him a butut, And so you had all these things. But Musa, on a serious note,
don't forget that he has diploma in real estate too. So.
Well, that was your guys wrote that. It was Cairo Okibaro. One of them came.
Your guys name. I'm gonna come to his defense there.
No, but Musa, we grew up in the Gambia, and in the Gambia there were certain customs and cultural values we had, to where our parents, in fact, would speak to us just by looking at us. We knew what to say, when to go away, and when to sit back. They just look at you, you know exactly, I have done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you are taught not to say nasty things about people. In fact, people who say nasty things about people are considered to be ñi amuñ yar. Moo tax soo déggee olof ne kii dafa yarade ko or dafa ñàkk a yar. Ku ñàkk a yar moo xam ne kenn yaru ko. In fact, that is in fact an indictment on your parents. If they say ne kii dafa ñàkk a yar, because your parents seen duty la pour ñu yar la. So ñàkk a yar mil ni sa parents yi ñaruñ la. Ku yarade ko nag mooy ku yar ba pare muy defee lu ko neex. Teggi yar tegee fele di defee lu ko neex. So meaning Musa, the most basic person in our country with the less experience, the less exposure in that country would know what to say, when to say it, and where to say it. And over this period, Barrow has demonstratively shown that not only is he reckless, that he does not care because of some of the things that he says. And we've dealt with Barrow in some way. Musa, you were his boss because he became president. He rented your properties for you.
He did.
And the person that you dealt with knew what to say to you when you say it. You never had to worry about your money because he would get it on time, take it to where it was supposed to go, and then get his cut and go away. So he knew what he was doing then. So we cannot do, yeah. So to me, what we're seeing in Barrow is Barrow 101. This is who has ever been. Because power exposes two things very quickly.
Who you are.
Who you are.
Yeah.
Your honesty and your humility. Honesty and humility are the biggest casualties of power. The biggest casualty of power, more honesty and humility, because very easily you can lose your humility and become arrogant because of the position. And if you're not guided by conscience, you can lose your honesty and become corrupt and incorruptible. And this is what we're dealing with. And we cannot continue every other week. There is something that comes from Barrow that we have to sanitize or have to raise our hand and say, no, did he or did he not? Barrow Magam Jomala Musa, he has 2 wives and kids. Who would go and call your father? The guy that you call your dad. The Kotikuchide. Duma jok si place bi fake deewulo. Li dal moy contract bi nga xamne man mom la sign. Te so deyé sa dina dem bi ca bamel gis ñu sul la ba paré ma doora joxe place bi xamne deka.
Man de lu ko wax lolu ben tay daf ma jaxal.
And it's just you cannot, it's just sad, Musa. And we can talk about how Barrow got to power, we can talk about who is this, but this has nothing to do with that. This is just basic common decency.
Yeah.
That one must have towards another person. One thing that I respected Sadauda about, Musa, say anything that you were to say about Sadauda. Say anything on to say about PPP and all this stuff. You've said a lot of things about the PPP. But I don't think you've ever had anywhere where Sadauda said anything nasty towards an other politician or leader. The most you would say, no, but duma moy gis nga ni da nga am royukaay Musa Adama Barrow ñaari royukaay la wara am ñu mo seet ñu bëgg roy because they were the people who preceded him to that position.
Correct.
Moy Sadauda Kairaba Jawara ak Yaya AJJ Jammeh nga seet nag ban jikko si ñaari jikko yi mooy jikko ju sell joo xam ne man mun naa koo roy pour mun a doxal réew mi.
Correct.
Nga jël loolu. That doesn't mean you have to take it all. What do we accuse Jawara of saying to other politicians? Doyedi. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Or PPP or the last rally that I saw that he did, Serakunda. PPP naka sujeri bena chin la.
Yeah.
NCP dañoo tiba si ko foog ne foofu neex gaay daw dem. GPP ñoo tiba foog ne moo ñu daw dem fekk xamuñ lu des sa cin ba moo gën a neex mu sa naka la taati cin ba. That's all he said about these parties. But you will never hear him insult anybody. But this is utter nonsense. And of course, they would excuse it. They would try joke. He was joking. Of course, that would not fly.
No,
and they would say,
joke will not. No.
And they would be like, you know what, Nakalatura, it is politics. They attacked him. But what did they say to him? In fact, Musa, man sumala sagende. Nga saga ma back. What does that show? The same people as Regne Soldi, ñun ñaar.
Bobusa is a wrong analogy because mom can saga wukonde.
No, mom, whatever Ousainou might have said to him, and I know he didn't say anything that would, because when I had Ousainu's last interview,
right?
What I think I was talking to you about that. Gambia Talent.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
It was a very measured interview. And all Ousainou was saying, you know what, suma dom ji, maa ngi bëgg rek pour mu gën a bàyyi xel li, bëgg naa mu gën a naka taxawal kàddoom si affaire luy xew naka Palestine ak loolu as chairman of naka la tudda IOC la tudda or whatever. And then was asked, but yo, you got advice ni sa dom ji. Have you ever tried to reach out to him? And Ousainou said, well, when COVID happened, man, I said that this should not be a UDP thing. It should be a national thing. When I called all the political parties that were out of government, and we agreed that we will come together and work with the government on this issue. When I called the State House, they would never give me an audience with the president because they started telling him, you know what, he is trying to find a way back into your government. Also. So that's the last thing I heard about what Ousainou might have said about Barrow. Even if he had said something else, I don't think it warranted this ridiculous thing that is being said. And like Serian said, everybody in this world, every serious government, president, is worrying about measures that will be put in place to help the seriousness, the problem that our people face. That's what they're doing. But with President Barrow, you will never hear any solutions. Unless they give him something to read at the National Assembly, he reads it and go and sit down. You take him to a rally. He cannot even help himself by at least telling people, you know what, why I'm building this road, let that road be important. No. He would have to get... Yeah.
When you go to a rally like that, no matter what opinions we have about the roads or not having, his position should have been Gizman Lila Def. Work on those things. This obsession with Ousainou is his biggest problem. I'm telling you. But Pasamba.
No. Dimbelema. When Fabakariba, Doyedi doesn't mean greed.
No, Doyedi do greed.
I have dealt with this thing, Hulonachi Guy PPP. In fact, the last time Jawara said this in 1992 at the Sierra Conawes rally, I said something real nasty, very loud. And I know he must have heard it. So Doyedi definitely doesn't mean greed. These are two different things. It's not.
So, but Pasama, just to move along with the conversation, clearly there was something that he said that does not help our democracy, our politics, and without a doubt, an insult, a disrespect to an elderly statesman. But every problem, there needs to be two things.
Mm-hmm.
We need to, what does he need to do to correct this wrong? For the country, not for himself politically. And also, as a people, what do we need to do? Because ultimately, those are the two important things. When I suggested, you are wasting your time, the man will never do that. Maybe he needs to do it. And that is, Musol Dalami, and the Imam or people that he respects, or call, what's his name, his religious godfather, what's his name, the religious advisor from Bakau, Dembo by force.
Mm-hmm.
And then you them can Ousainou, and then apologize to the man. I think it's important. I think the country needs that. I really, 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 really do. I don't think it's totally out of the, something crazy. Because, again, you did suggest that maybe he needs to go out there and take responsibility of something that you said, that you take it back to the country. And I want to take it back.
And I want to take it back. And
yes,
say,
you have to walk it back. Even in national politics, they do that. You say something, then you walk it back. And I think he needs to do that. It cannot be just politics as usual. Wanga correct within a week or so. I'm telling you, your opponent.
And that's what they're counting on. That, you know what, hey, don't forget, don't worry, this will just die down and this thing. But like you said, sorry, and that I'm jumping the line here. Like you said, what I believe must be done is, first of all, you own up to you. That's what honest people do.
Yes.
And said, you know what? In fact, I will first address the nation because the nation deserves that. I said, listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to speak English as I'm going to speak Mandinka, and tell people, listen, I said this and this and this in this language, Sibopa. Upon reflecting on it, Mange Jegalu. Not only to Ousainou, why to the whole country. Ousainou does not deserve this.
I think he needs to do that.
Ousainou lum bon. Because lum bon, mom dafla ne Ousainou kilifam la. I apologize to Ousainou, and I will go myself to his house.
Correct.
To take his hand and apologize. That's how you, in fact, of course, there will be people who resist that, but knowing Ousainou is not going to resist Adama Barrow going to his house. That's not going to
why would he resist that? He wouldn't resist
it. So when you do that, we move on. But then you cannot also decode every time and just coming and apologizing too.
No, but he has never apologized. In other words, he has never taken responsibility. Whatever one sees it, there is always Gambians would have different take on it.
Yeah.
Why Bini There's nothing like having different take on it. I mean, it's just bad. It's bad for
I think what you said needs to happen, but he needs to address the nation, apologize to the country.
Democracy. But then the second thing that I wanted to say, more not only him apologizing to the country and Alaji Ousainou going up to his house, I think that is good for our politics. But also, we have to take responsibilities as voters and as people. They complain, and that's all we do. At the end of the day, Barrow needs to go come 2026.
Like kay wax la benn wax ju Khalifa waxoon si élection sami mu ne ku sànni karta sànni maa tey mu jural la ñu nguuri maa tey
mooy dëgg bu wér.
And that's it.
And
sooy sànni karta ci maa tey nguuri maa tey rek la laa jural
2026. But I had my he's now my assistant strategist, Mr. Marong. I see articulating the most important thing, Moy, to bring about this change. And what you heard what he said. He said we all need to come together. We all need to come together. Common effort. And then to bring about this change 2026. Now, the coming together, I agree with. Because that commonality, how we come together to bring about the change, I think that's where the debate needs to be. And if there is one platform that I think we call it as we see it, we should start the conversation. Not necessarily today, but moving forward. That common effort to bring about change. Because, is that the saying?
I agree with you 100%. Not today. Not today.
Not today.
I say not today. But I think we need to have these hard conversations moving forward.
Correct.
I mean, because I think, yeah.
I'm telling you, Sarina, if we don't do that, if we don't have an honest conversation, what are the different choices that can bring about change? If we do not have that conversation, I can guarantee you we will be here 2027. We will be saying the same thing. We will be saying the missed opportunities. We will be saying, oh, ni lañ ko waroon a defee, oh, nele lañ ko waroon a defee, it'll be too little, too late. So we have to have the guts, to talk about these things. How do we change our country? We all talk about the Sidinjai and what happened. You see, Sidinjai is one individual. And I think if I were him, he should hire a PR person to do a makeover. Sidinjai mom wax deug yalla. There's unanimity. Gis nga lim def nonu. Other people could have done it. The reaction would have been different. Do you guys think for a minute that ferry, that is an ongoing thing? This is not just Sidinjai. It happens all the time. People calling, hana yo muy pasamba muy man muy yow. So demé nga ne man la ma bëgg cross dem kaw ñu la hay bro wa harama call suma waji mo nek edi assistant director libi so demé rek so yow da nga dem rek sa moto bi rek def ni wiggle rek ñu yobul la ci kanam. Now it is there. They've been doing it. Siri Njai rek la ci yaayam naka lañ ko waxate. That saying goes. But he is not the only one. That ferry, they do not have a schedule. They do not have anything like that. Really. I mean, and then it addresses the underlying problem with corruption in the country. So cross border to Banjul, you're having a private car. If you don't bribe anybody, possible. I'm telling you. And of course, it inconvenience you. So what you do is you bribe people. You jël sa moto bi mu romb fa moto yi yépp swerve yow ñu yóbbu la ci kanam. Now, this one was a little bit too much because you're talking about the ferry standing there waiting for 35 minutes. No, that should not happen anywhere. I cannot see that happening in the Western world. Possible. A schedule is a schedule. Waiting for a government official for what? I can understand waiting for an ambulance, emergency ambulance. I get that. But just a government official? I think...
Sidinjai of all people.
No, but you see, that's what makes it bad. It's not only Sirin Jaisa, bro. It could have been anybody. It would be wrong. Ligina Merlon Nini Moine Sirin Jai Bopan, Motamanela, he needs to do a makeover, get a PR person. Because Siri is not politically popular. I can tell you that. Most Gambians don't like the man. I don't know whether he knows that or not.
And there is a reason for that.
Yes. He inflamed no boy, need support.
No, he would not.
You know,
he's in denial.
You support APRC. But I am telling you, there's something about the man that people have a problem with. So if I put change Melokana, you know, this Waramba and the Kopati and the people be like, what the, you know, you of all people? But again, it's gonna come down to whether it's the director of ferry services, whether it's Gambia Ports Authority, Usman Jobate, it's really gonna come down to someone, a leader in the state house. He's gonna change the culture. He is the one that's gonna change the culture. Because I'm telling you, we are all guilty as charged. This corruption, this buying our way, when it comes to inconvenience, Pasamba daf koy def, Musa Jeng daf koy def, Sariang Marong daf koy def. And
which you do Pasamba de?
Dañ koy def. So unless and until baby, you represent a segment of the diaspora. When we go home, anytime we get inconvenient, we buy our way. Actually, what we do that all the time. Bugun dara inconvenient. We wouldn't do it here because the culture does not accept it. But when we go home, you deluat. I mean, and just a short anecdote. At our hotel, we had a regulator who came from DeKalb County. I think I said that last week. I don't know. The kitchen exhaust me. And the guy, the restaurant was full of people. And the guy came and he said, you guys need to shut down the restaurant. And people were like, what the hell? Shut down the restaurant. So some employees they called me and said, for me to come and talk to the guy. Because, you know, I mean, I oversee the license and permits and things like that. So I came and the guy made it very clear that the exhaust hasn't been working. You guys were aware of it. Normally, I wasn't really aware of it. And then he said, so you guys need to shut down. I'm like, my man, we have a hotel, 224 people. You think the restaurant is full? We cannot shut down the restaurant. It's like, I really don't care. Because if something happens, I will have to answer for that. And I'm not willing to do that. And you cannot demonstrate any kind of flexibility, and we try to fix this. It's like flexibility like how? My Gambian thing was kind of working in me now. You know, I mean, before I cut myself. But kanam gogolama wanusa. You know what I mean? I am not going to demonstrate any kind of flexibility. You guys violated a regulation, and you guys would need to shut it down. And you know what? We had to settle down. Moving from serving hot breakfast to continental breakfast. For 2-3 days, spend $50,000 to fix that before the restaurant could even reopen. In the Gambia, that will never happen. Absolutely not. The person who is coming to enforce the regulation will be bought, and they will buy him. That is the difference. So unless
but Musa, there are few Gambians, of course, negligible number,
yes,
who will refuse to participate in any of that. So it's not like every single Gambian alive. And I understand what he's saying, because you know it has become so insignificant, the number of Gambians that would say no to that is not even worth mentioning. But what you say too is the truth. The culture of corruption in that country, it is ingrained in us. Look at Ture of Customs. That's my example every time. Ture Bugudara, that's what they call him. Because the guy refused to be bribed. He refused to build these big mansions or whatever. He lived, you know, by his meager resources and all that stuff. But Sarian, Musa has taken up all the time and is not even allowing to speak.
Go ahead, Mrs. Sarian.
But you don't forget the ads before, so that at least the last hour.
Sarian, before you come with because Hamnane, you're gonna come with something big. Let's come Kiki Dewa, Peter Gomez. Let's give food to the program too. The program needs it. We gotta pay it. Sorry, again, you gotta send me that clip.
I'm working on it, man. So yeah, Musa, you know, I think I agree with you. First time we're on the same page, and we gotta, you know, I think the hard conversation needs to go on, and
It does.
it's not one fit size all, and it's multifaceted, and all the pieces needs to come together. So I agree with that. But I think one thing that we almost do is, we need to empower each other. To participate in reimaging our government. A government that not only supports its staff and or the employees or the leadership in the hierarchy, but also that supports our families, our communities, and preserve our democracy, because Barrow's presidency doesn't come out of vacuum. I mean, for 22 years, yeah, Jammeh has brutalized, killed, maimed, tortured, raped Gambians, and at some point, Gambians had to wake up and come together and fight back. So now, if a man who's been given the mantle of leadership resort to things that are in conflict of what we all fought for, I think everyone needs to be outraged and respond as we are responding right now. Um, I don't think Gambian, we're not helpless. I really don't think so. I mean, if we come together for a common purpose, I think, and we stand for truth, accountability, we need to hold ourselves accountable first, speak the truth. And with that, I think, we could charter a different path for our country. And, everyone kind of needs to take a break. I think everyone is on fire. Is on fire, and everyone is emotional. But what do we learn from these and subsequent utterances that he does, and how do we respond squarely to such a vile and wicked and vindictive rhetoric? I think that is the conversation going forward here, and I think this absent kids just needs to kind of like freaking. I think he's out of line. Sometimes there are time for every single freaking thing, right? You've wrote so many garbage on this platform that
Who's that?
people, I'm going to respond to you. This is not the time about UDP. We force battle. I think it's stupid and disrespectful, right? So I think you need to calm down a little bit. I don't know who you are. I think you have a freaking false profile. But I think this is not the time to be pushing this nonsense upon people, right? Right? So Barrow said shit that doesn't line up with a lot of people. I mean, on fact, he disrespect. The UDP didn't tell Barrow to fucking go insult, right? No, I mean, it's becoming too much on this. I never do this, but I think it comes to a point. His hate needs to be addressed on this platform. We're not going to come here and castigate each other. We took time to sit on this platform and discuss things. Mm-hmm. But you cannot continue to be disrespectful to people, right? The man, when he's a president of the Gambia, he went and said stuff that are worst. In fact, threatening someone up to a point. You didn't say any good. You didn't say anything wrong with that. But you're coming here taking a complete swipe at people. I think it's disgusting at the most. And I hold Barrow and you at the same standard. I mean, come on, Musa. I mean, I don't, but the young man, I don't know who this person is, and I don't know which planet he came from. But he needs to back down a little bit, man. It's not the time.
Who is he talking about?
Who are you talking about?
I think it's the absent or some nonsense absent guy. He writes these ridiculous statements about, but UDP gave they are all the same, blah, blah. It's not the time for this nonsense. It's not. I'm serious. It's not. This is not the time for things, man. I think we need to come together as a country and address these issues. But this whole thing that you've been saying on this platform, since you log in, it's disgusting to call it the most, because Barrow is the president. He should charter a different path, saying that who force who on him? Who? I mean, he has been in the president for 7 years. He should learn. He's traveled extensively. He's met with other, head of states. But we continue to do this blaming. Instead of speaking the truth, we continue to pinpoint and blame other side of about things. Nobody told him to go insult people. Nobody told him not to address the plight of 150 youths that perish in the sea. At least he needs to take leadership. But you're so immature on this platform. And I'm going to address you directly. I don't do that. But I think I read so many disgusting comments from you. And it's about time I address you head on for you to knock this crap off, right? It's not the time, But Musa, the great thing about it is we need to come together as a country. And when I say that, the hard conversation needs to happen in UDP camp, all the other camp. How do we see this vitality? How Barrow needs to be off the track. I mean, I think he showed us that he's gonna be in power for a very, very long time. He said that, irrespective of us talking about the new constitution. He's saying, I mean, with the new constitution, obviously he's not gonna serve forever, but this way he's saying, I'm gonna be the president. So obviously, I think we need to take him on his trend and challenge him, right? I think that is very, very important. Very important. Sorry about that F-bomb, but sometimes
that's the cello in you,
I mean, sometimes those things kind of trigger, the whiskey tango foxtrot and all that stuff. So, but apologize, man.
Well, all I
I'm like,
I'm going to. This is a serious problem, and it is a governance problem. And at the end of the day,
so sorry, Pastor, but Lolly, I send you the
we
link.
have to have a look at ourselves.
I send you the link on WhatsApp, Lolly. Sorry.
Yeah, we have to at least look at ourselves and see the type of Gambia that we really want.
Yes.
And what are we going to do to get us there? It's not going to happen out of a vacuum, and it's not going to happen out of wishes. It would have to take hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and of course, get it right this time around. In 2016, we faced, to use Karamba's famous word, an existential threat. I can never say that word. Yes. The threat to be in existence, pretty much. Not to be in existence. But the objective was, let's get rid of this guy to give ourselves a chance so that we can have a new beginning. But what I believe happened was, after getting him out, we never tried to get that beginning that we sought or wanted to have. And that has brought us to where we are today. And one thing that must not be lost in all of us, mostly post-dictatorship is not the easiest thing anywhere in the world. You do not always have the most desired leadership in any post-dictatorship. It's a constant struggle. So this is where, if you're an activist and you believe in this cause, if you're a politician and you believe in this cause, if you're an ordinary Gambian who believes that the Gambia deserves better, this is where we cannot just throw our hands in the air and say, you know what, forget it. We are doomed. No. Other places had it much harder than we did. But we can make it right, Musa.
We can.
But for us to make it right, we have to work together. We do not have to agree. But this whole coming together thing must, thank you, existential threat. Thank you very much, Small Oyebi, the guy from England.
Muloko break down into
Muloko break down. I'm gonna what feel what's the name of the he is a Kianka.
No, I think it's Nomin Kalade, Ninko Gizni.
Yeah. But Musa, we cannot also just have coming together just for the sake of it. It must be people who believe in it, have a vision, not only for today, for a change, but at least a vision for something that is sustainable for the greater good of our country. Otherwise, you know what we'll have? Coalition after coalition. Because you'll have one coalition, they come and do not do what they're supposed to do, and other coalition is formed to get them out, and then you have another coalition, and it's not going to help at the end of the day. But I only hope that Adama Barrow and his people understand the weight of the job
Yes.
that they shoulder. This job is not one to enrich them, but it is one to help a people who have suffered for so long. Musa, our people, there are so many Gambians who've never known true advancement, economic development. Happiness is relative. You can say they're happy or happening. But there are people who've never seen any form of development.
But the boys are happy there.
In their lives. Is that cliche nonsense?
Boys are happy.
So if you have a country where the overwhelming majority must continue to wallow in abject poverty for 50 years, 60 years, Musa, you cannot have such a job and be idle. There is a reason America, with all its development, the only person who went to the White House and came out without being older than he was going in was Trump, and Trump did not care about anything. He never read. He never bothered about anything. He just said some foolish things and then go Lumodef. You know, but Luba Moy Nakalatura, anybody who becomes president of the United States with all its economic advancement and opportunities. Look at Obama. He went there, a young man, came out an old man.
It's a tough job. It is.
It's a tough job. But Adama Barrow went there as somebody in Velcro, you get mass whom he's showing you all this designer message that he wears. You know, he went there a poor man and he's now telling you that my bank account has over 270 whatever million that he said he had in his bank account. We know Adama didn't have that kind of money when he was running. But you go there, so some reason, in some ways, you enrich yourself. So we have to have leaders who care about the country. Like Khalifa said, the unfortunate thing that we have is that we continue to elect leaders who are more in love with their position than they are with the country or the people.
Correct.
And it has to be the other way around.
The three is experience,
yes,
education, and exposure. As long as you get lolu sane ko ca xatch, and we use other considerations.
Integrity, integrity, you can have
character.
Yeah, that's it.
Character be more yet. Lolly.
Good character.
It's good to have you on for the people. Lolly, no definitely.
You need like most new Nalian. Pass on back, sorry, young man with a new news and dig look at it. Ni setan.
You love a Lolly.
Man, you knew you keep on there with him. Dama bëggoon a wàccee suma mer bi rek moo tax ma wax loolu parce que Adama Barrow man bi ma gisee nit ñi di binda statements dama ne man xaaral ma dem déglu suma bopp suma noppa moo ma doy daal may wër vidéo bi di wër ba gis vidéo bi ma déglu ko si Boubacar Sidi ma dégluwaat ma ne déedéet Barrow te Barrow li nga ko gis ni li xolam bi li ko dog nii mooy fajaara property bii de looloo triga waxi dof bi mu wax ni ba pare moom mu dem biir kaama instead of mu wax waxi ndox yi taa xalaat ni mu defaree dimbal nit ñi su xali biir kaama nga taaya ba ndox bi di am si ndigi nit ñi nga ñëw foofu taxaw fa di fa meeting indi sa podium bu stupide waxuloo dara lu dul di attaque ni di ko ene dee ndax moom xanaa moom moo amee ba kenn Adama Barrow foofu moom that's the lowest of the lowest ba pare waxuma dara ignorant people yi toog foofu di tàccoo ka aj tànka ñi war nañoo def lu ñaaw lii
mooy siboorukat yi
te kuñ fi jëloon tey jii ene fi sa baay dee billahi doo ko waxee nii
muy dëgg de
ñun mi fi ñaata suñ baay ñaata at ba tey nekkam di ko jooy ba ñi ngi nekk mag nii di ko jooy kuñ fi ene woon sa baay dee tey dee doo fa tàccu di feccu di nga am neneen nooy defee nu dut nii te oncle Ousainou Darboe doomam yi suñ jógee wax na nit ñi tëj seen gémmiñ ñi parce que kuñ fi attaque sa baay di nga jóg wax na nit ñi bàyyi fi naafee xabi te ñu fees dëgga ba pare njiiti réew luma lii su ko keneen waxoon sax ñu ne waaw waaye njiiti réew that's the lowest of the low lu Adama Barrow def nii wax dëgga neex yàlla ku waxul dëgga nag nga wax fen kii is about time ñu address issue si nonsense si moo def nii si boorukat yi ñi nga xam ne seen poosal leen tax a jóg nguur gu ñëw ñu bëgg a cee tax a rib ñooñu ñooy nekk di farle wax ji waaye koo xam ne wér nga nit ñi nañ jóg liggéeyi waaye te bàyyi affaire yi nguur yorul doomu aadama waaye nguur gu ñëw ñu bëgg a seengo yàlla lu mu def ñu ne baax na waaye maa ngi xaar ko fi génna di jéem a defar wax ji maa ngi ko xaar
mbaa du nga diggaale moom
waaw gatsa rek problème.
That's Lolly Nyang, activist from Atlanta. The Doru Terege.
From Afdai.
Yow ñii maa ngi xaar ku ko fi wax naa fi xay bon yi ñii ñu ngi laaxu si seen ron kër yi di wax naa waaw xam nga paa bi la xam nga moo ñu ko jox bu ñu ko joxee dafa war a tax mu ene ko dee pour lan.
non loolu sa wax yu ñaaw la
waxi dof yooyu nañ ko tegee boor démba ba ñoo isi Adama Barrow ñëpp a ngi yàkkamti woon Yaya Jammeh dem.
kenn xamu ko woon de man de rock picture laa dugaloon gars yi dama dee du kooku. so ñu seetaan
dafa am jànga yi ko am xam Afdaay bu baax ñooñu dafa am koo xam ne dafa ma doon ñaawal ba dama tongoo kooku ba élection bi passé. because mu ne yéen kii ngeen indi di daanu di xaxataay di def ma ñee rek ma mere kooku tongoo ko.
yow it demal baalu kooku loole.
dinaa ko baalu moom mu daan yóbbu jànga di leen tëjee boole di leen yóbbu boole si arène bundu di leen peje.
For the people by the
Lolly, you made me laugh, so that's good. That's really good. That's a good one.
No, I cannot follow Roy. He found out what hang up because
so we have to have a special show on this.
I know. Gis nga, I'll be very honest with you guys. Man, big my own video, because it's super like this video. So when I saw the video, man, ko hol man hey, gis nga li. Maybe this is AI generated. So come on, if you money, send me the whole strip. So man, you can detect bam agaman hi. Did this really happen? And that's when I really sat here. You know, and the coach, I think it's either you or Musa who said Barrow should go apologize to Mr. Darboe. I'm telling Mr. Darboe right now. Mr. Darboe su fekkee ne Adama Barrow ñëw na di apologize to yow baalalu ma la ko because nit ki su fekkee you can apologize for something you will regret. Adama made those utterances and he meant them. So he should not even bother to apologize because nobody will take him seriously. One of the things that bothers me about a lot of Gambians, and I have seen it on this thread, ñu ngi nekk fii di caaxaan di lifin waaw 69 Barrow mo UDP ñoo indi Barrow nonsense yéen mi wax ni convention boobu noonu doy Ahmad Fatty Patem bi ñëpp ñoo def seen resources behind Adama Barrow because Mr. Kini Halifa mënoon naa toog ne moom bokk ci coalition bi but everybody came together. Man, I used to say dama ne anybody koo xam ne you have reached the age to go against Yaya Jammeh dinañ la doon taxawal. Gis nga coach yaa ngi wax ne wrong picture bi nga use gis nga bis boobu noonu because man maa doon defar coalition 2016 page bi gis nga pour am Adama Barrow nataala bi nekk si cover page boobu noonu sax was like pulling teeth because I never in my wildest dreams knew he would win. Ma ne Pata ñu ngi ma dem GDF group bi ma ne Pata who's this guy mu ne well I don't know him either. Pata bi nga xam ne UDP la judo almost. So an entity from nowhere Ousainou Darboe dem si biti ne he wants Solo Sandeng dead or alive when he knew actually ne Solo Sandeng was dead. Mu xam ne su génne Adama bi Yaya Jammeh dina ko rey mu génn dem ñu jël executive am yëpp tëj leen jigéen ñi UDP yi Kalama Revolution nañ waxante dëgg ñu takka seen digga yi coach you did a flyer you called it Batu Revolution the Mandinkas called it Kalama Revolution ñu génn ñu xeex Yaya Jammeh they took it to the doorstep to his legal courts. Every day, where koor gi sax jigéen ñi ñu ngi takka seen digay di woy te Gambia duñ dee woy weeri koor but this was a revolution led by women. Adama Barrow was nowhere to be found. Binta Nyabali said it at TRRC ne bi gaay PIU yi ñëwee si biir kër Mr. Darboe Adama Barrow jigéen ñi ñoo ko denc si ron table bi so kooku su doogee tey di wax yu bon yi wishing somebody dead yow koo xam ne nga ni jullit nga bor bu set ngay waxturi yàlla Yaya Jammeh fii da dee toog ne auzu billahi mina shaytan rajim and he will go crazy. Yaya Jammeh fii la toog mu ne dina suul Mandinka yi ñi nekk foofu di ko tàccul di ree ñu bari doomi Mandinka lañ Adama Barrow fi mu taxawee wax lii ña taxaw foofu noonu si booram di tàccu di ree ñooñu dañ bon ne Adama soo ñun Gambien si nga xam ne suñ toogee ñu naan waaw UDP dañ war a indi ni you cannot have any freaking coalition in this Gambia without UDP mu neex leen naxari leen su fekkee ne bu ngeen a génne Yaya Jammeh Adama Barrow si presidency bi you cannot do it without UDP te Mr Darboe tey ku ko bëggutoon ku ko bañoon sax soo nekkee nit ku baax tey taxaw nga wax against Adama Barrow li moo def ni Adama dafa yaratiku dafa yaroo sagoom te Gambien fi fii lañ war a toog nag bor kilifa koo xam ne da nga toog and a government was given to you on a silver platter this is the only way you will react because Adama musuta xeex for Gambia Adama xamul xeex bi nu mettee Adama sonn ci xeexi Gambia moo tax Adama xeeb Gambian si because if he was one of the people that fought for country then he'll be measured in what he says. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, this Safiong, you can call in. I sent you the link because we got to go 3 p.m. At least I'm going to more because I'm a young muted today. But I mean, Sariang, like you said,
no, it's 3 p.m. The guy, I don't know why you love to slang when this Usman Sabah.
What's that?
The guy is at 3 p.m.
Money, bro.
No, I was yo suntu dafenga waro yene link bi.
Yeah, ñeme ñut. Xam nga ñeme ñuma mom dafa nek rek di ma
What do you never send him the link though,
I do. He doesn't want it. Suntu. Can I send you the link? And he's a lawyer, so you would think that he's somebody who can prosecute this case. But I don't think he has what it takes. Nyomin Kala. How long?
I think Suntu was from Kiang.
He's not. Nyomin Kala, bro.
No, I thought he's from Kiang too.
I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Suntu.
I thought he's from Kiang.
At one time, I think he was saying. I think he's from Nyomi.
Nyomi, huh?
Yeah, that's what I believe. It's from Nyomi. And Palatami Ninkogis needed. This guy has been on the struggle for a long time.
But is he part of the Biden group?
Biden group, this fighting. So, but
he is from Kiang.
Oh, he's from Kiang? That's what he said?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'm wrong then. After 2 presidents in Zimbabwe.
He's a Kianka.
So,
do you remember his uncle? His uncle's contested in the 2012 elections.
So did he win or did he lose?
I think he lost.
That says
I
a
think
lot.
he stood as an independent. Kiang, one of the Kiang.
So what are you laughing?
There's a lot about Suntu and his influence in Kiang there.
Okay, well, Alexander,
no, he's from Nyomi. I thought as much. I thought at one time, Momsi Boba, he talked about coming from Nyomi. On a Berending or
you know what? Maybe he's one of those Kiankas who migrated to Nyomi. I'm the Kiang when they told him to.
Is he from Bullet Bar?
From where?
Bullet Bar.
I don't know where that is.
Mbolet.
Oh, Mbolet. No.
Mbolet Bar or Kanuma? Is he from Kanuma?
Where is the place that has the weed? Who is in the Nyomi?
Oh, he said Nyomi Lamen.
Oh, Nyomi Lamen. Yes. Now I remember. Because in the way we were enunciating Lamin, he was the one who came here and said the name Lamin. I'm not saying how we break it down. I think he was the one saying that Lamin.
Why is Suntu Dafesa the subject of conversation, sir?
Yeah. You want to tell me?
I know we're about to wrap up, but I hope that seriously that the president will really rethink. Even should they would apologize, sir, his ways.
I disagree. I disagree to Kulur, sir, because this is not just about Ousainou. I think it's about our country too, and about our politics, the civility, the decency. Yeah, I think it really matters. He can call it whatever he wants to call it. Misspoke, which I don't think it is. I think this is premeditated. I think he was angry. with what Ousainou said about the land allocation. And I think he said things that are very bad. And to fix it, first, he needs to apologize to the country. Basically, take responsibility. What I said should not have been said. As a Muslim, and also as someone from Mankamakunda, the culture that we live in, such kind of utterances should not have been done. And I apologize to the country, and I apologize to my father as well. Musol dalami. Ñun day ko la waade salum salum. Bu fekkee ne da nga def loo xam ne dafa ñaaw. Da ngay jóg nga sol sa dali nga dem ci li nga ki li nga lim ne ko tuub naa.
Yobu guru
ne ko tuub naa. It's not gonna do anything. Seriously. And I'm not talking about the political calculation. That's neither here nor there. Anybody who thinks this is even going to cost him the election, you got something else coming. Believe me. It's not necessarily so. You know?
Spare 5 minutes for American democracy. Now what you got, Musa? What you got?
Brother man, I came here 2 Sundays and I'm telling you, our campaign, we need energy. We need excitement. You were laughing at me. Excitement. You see what it has done? Now, I'm not saying it's game over. But I think we're back in the game by hitting that reset button. Now, my pick, though, is this vice presidential pick. How consequential is it? What do you think, Sarian?
Have they picked anybody yet?
Not yet, but they have this Joe Shapiro from Pennsylvania, which, of course, without those 29 electoral votes, I don't think we can win. But there are some also undercurrent. Just like Gambia, there is this tribal undercurrent. West, they're not insulated, immune to that, There's also this talk. Wait a minute, if you pick Shapiro, who happens to be Jewish, that could create problems. The Arab voting in Michigan. I'm telling you, there are people making that calculation too. Be careful, the husband being Jewish, and then you bring in a Jewish running mate. And in America too, there's this anti-Jewish thing, even within the white people, the white community too as well. There are people who are saying that. There are people talking about Kelly in North Carolina. That might be.
Kelly in Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yes. Arizona might be. Kelly might be the right person for that. There are people talking about her relationship with the one from North Carolina, former whatever his name is.
Yeah, the governor, yes.
Yeah, the governor. That name. I like. You know who I like? This governor from Minnesota. I like his name.
Wow.
Yes, he takes the fight. To Trump and Vance. I really like him.
One thing I know, that Minnesota on the ticket, they have not done very well. So you don't want.
I think the front runner.
Right now, Minnesota right now. She's leading by 52 to 46%. Minnesota was Democrat. It's a Democratic state anyway.
Yeah,
it used to be when I lived there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey,
wait,
at least you guys have gotten rid of your genocidal problem for now.
Oh
so,
my God! You see, Cooper.
But anyway, we had
Cooper in North Carolina, because he has a relationship with. Now there's this other one though that they're throwing out there. That's the Buttigieg. Pete, what do you think,
I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna be good. I think the contest is between Kelly and Shapiro. But again, considering the Senate, you have to make that calculus. There's a governor in Arizona, but he's not that popular, right? So if you elect Kelly and take Kelly advice, there's gonna be a re-election. I mean, maybe they might lose their Senate seat. So you got to make those things too. So, but you got to guess. So you send him a link, let him talk.
Yes.
So,
Safiong, it's been a while though. Did we abandon our platform? What's up?
No. Some busy schedule things. Unka busy back less. I more from the whole lesson. Whole kamuta signing.
Okay. So what's up? We don't have a whole lot of time left.
Yeah, I know. I always follow you, although even though the live always escape me, but I always come back and listen to the
recorded,
to the audio, and then learn from it. This platform is a teaching place for me. I cannot leave it. Thank you for your services for the country.
Well, thank you, Sophia, for being there with us.
What is going on now in the country is our own making as Gambians. We can fix it if we want to, but I don't think we want to fix it. Because I always said, recently I started recording audios to say my mind. I always said that Gambian people should start changing the way we see things, habit, attitude, and we should start making sure our leaders understand that they are employees of the citizenry. The fact that we are making them the position of kings and kingmakers, calling them Mansa, they are seeing themselves also that they are Mansas and they are kings. So that's why they always do or go away with everything they did, because they feel inside that they are the kings, they are the powerful people. We, the voters, are now seen as their subjects instead of their boss. So the reason why every Gambian accepted for Barrow to throw away Memorandum of Understanding of Coalition 2016 Agreement to give Gambia a pill, a standing foundation for the country to have a start, just a start, to serve 3 years, to give a start for the country and leave. We fight each other, insult each other for some people's benefit so that he can continue for 5 years, because we want that. We accepted that. Now, that man is now telling us, somebody that he did not create, he has to stay in power until the person died, which means everything Barrow is saying in that National Assembly is a lie. That I am going to bring constitution, I am going to bring term limit, is a lie, because his ambition and what is in him is that he is not going to leave that office until Ousainou Darboe died. Unless he planned to kill Ousainou Darboe, which means he is not going to give us term limit. He is not going to give us 50+1 as far as Ousainou Darboe is alive. I am interpreting in my own interpretation of what I heard from him. If a president told me I cannot leave office until my opponents die and I buried him, and that president is going to our National Assembly telling people that I will give you term limit, is he praying that Ousainou Darboe die before 2036 or 2031? Or is he planned to kill him before he leave office? Because if he cannot be a former president when Ousainou is alive, if he cannot be a former president, then if election occurred 2016 and 2026, he lost election, then he has to kill Ousainou Darboe before the new president will be swearing in. Unless Gambian people are the one that is in him, supporting him to perpetuate somebody that tells you that I want to build a foundation for you and leave a legacy for 3 years, is now going for 10 years and now telling us, even less than 3 years of election, telling us that I am not going to leave until this man died. And everybody is arguing whether it's right or not. Some parts are saying he did not say bad things. What he says is just a political statement. My friend, if we are serious about this country, we know who to elect to make only a foundation, to give a foundation to this small country, to at least start. This country has never started. It has never started. And we know the reason why it has never started. We just give blind eye. And I don't care to leave this country in the hands of people who is ready to pocket it everything and now threaten lives. You see, if Gambian people, majority of Gambian people did not see these words as concern, they are fooling themselves because this man is already a dictator. He started it now saying it, and he will implement it. When people start missing, we will now understand that, look, we think this man is fool, but this man is the most worst president Gambia will ever have in the history of Gambia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Safion. Very profound, always. When he comes here, the man speaks his mind, and he always, with facts, to back whatever his utterances are. Thank you, Safion. You make
Thank you, man.
Platform what it is. So, Sariang, like you said, we're going to continue the conversation, the honest conversation about how do we bring about change in 2026, and everything is going to be on the table. Are you ready? I don't like that laugh.
No,
what did he say?
You
don't like it, or what do you say?
everything is on the table.
No. You know one thing. This past week, I attended a seminar, and I think next week I will share some very intriguing perspective in terms of collectivity and especially in terms of government and the leaders who oversee us. I mean, and a very, very divergent view. And I think, it's good to share and have people take on it. It's really, really great, Musa. How us see a leader and how those leaders see us and how they have a firm grip on their position and they're doing anything to kind of, hold that deer to their hurt and they don't want to lose it. Very, very, very interesting, conversation. So, but today you did very well. The cousins were very happy. They say you are very independent today. They have nothing to see. Huh?
Just today.
It changes day to day. So I don't know. Next week, we don't know.
But it has to, though.
They say, "Oh, today he's very, very independent. Today he's very independent." That's true. And I said, "Okay,
Anyway, Pop Samba.
All right.
Yes, man, guys. Next Sunday.
We'll try to put a twist next week. We want to talk about Pop Samba, the economy. Really, we want to bring people here, and there's a lot of talk. I think you did mention it with Alajimbo calling the central bank to come and explain what the hell is happening to the dollar. I mean, when they took over, the dollar was like, back in 2016, $50, $50. Now it's heading to 70. We need to bring people and we need to talk about it. What is driving this? Musa, you should always listen to me and stop wasting energy.
And I heard the speaker, someone alleged, I think, is it the name from Janjambure? Saying the speaker stole a vehicle and put his personal license plate on. I don't know how true that is. I said they must investigate it. So I don't know how true it is, but I saw it somewhere,
So, but we definitely need to talk about the economy, really. I mean, in real terms, okay.
I thought your buddy, Dr. C, said he was going to come here every month.
What I'm going to do, I'll try to talk to Gajigo. Because he's the most active economist there, talking about the economy every step of the way.
Usman, right?
Usman, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I reached out to Sabali too. He was at the central bank. He likes to talk economics. So to get his perspective as well.
So to get Sabali to come and defend the economy. No, of course that's what he's going to do now.
let him.
I have no problem with him coming, but you're not going to get an independent analysis of
No, but
the
no,
economy.
not independent. I'm not interested in an independent analysis.
Okay.
Divergent views. That's what this platform is interested in, not just narrow. No, people can come and even defend the indefensible as long as it's based on facts. What are you afraid of?
But how can
Anyway.
you defend the undefensible based on facts?
I'm just saying.
No. How can? No. I understand. How on earth can one defend the indefensible based on
all
facts?
I'm saying, you just talk about Gajigo.
All of a sudden, you have a soft. All of a sudden, you have a soft spot for Modu Sabali.
No, I do not.
Let him come.
What I said is, Demba, I told Pasamba, maybe we need to bring Nyangjai and Sabali and talk about this Dalasi depreciation. That's what this whole thing is coming from. I want for us to talk about this issue. Soft spot? No, I cannot have soft spot for Sabali. It's not possible.
Well, it seems like it. He's your buddy now.
He's my buddy. How is he my buddy?
I don't know, man. Sometimes the strategies, this whole spiral goes all the way up there and it comes down and it stays at below. So right now, where it is, I seen the reaction. I was like, what is he talking about? This was the chief strategist. He's talking about he's gonna come in here. When was the last time he put?
I like the Gajigo thing. I think.
No, I'll call.
Invite somebody. Invite somebody. If he comes in, it's okay. He can come in. He can come in.
To be honest, I like I told Pasambani, I wanted to bring Nyangjai and Sabali to talk about. This was before we even know that we have a lot.
Two different people, two different personalities. They view different world. And what their integrity and character stands for. So yeah, I think it would be very interesting to bring both of them at the same time.
We have to. This is a platform that we always want to up the ante. The temperature has to go up. And
no. I'm with you, Father Mose.
So they say Nyang, no Sabali, maybe Nyang. That's my man Ogis. And
Ogis, good guy, man. Good brother, man. But when you're gonna interview when you're gonna interview Suntu? Suntu should be coming in, interview.
Ask him, Suntu.
I'm going to also try to talk to Boa to see whether he would want to come.
Oh yeah, Boa Sedi.
I've tried him before. I don't know why he's been here before though, but then he was with Mambure Jai and others. That was when the Ministry of Finance came here to talk about whatever. That was when they brought their whole ministry to talk about what they were doing.
I don't know whether he's an economist or not. He said, aside from the structural inadequacies, the Dalasi will struggle to stabilize as long as the Senegalese have unfettered access to our economy. Oh my God. That's Del take on it. Del too, one time I extended an invitation to him, but he kind of turned it down. My brother, the invitation is still open.
Where is Del? Del lives in England. He's part of the subjects.
He's part of the subjects. But
yes.
His take on things. I see also that he likes Trump. I know sometimes I don't understand.
Yeah, I saw him say that.
No, I saw that, and I was shaking my head. I said, I don't know which planet you live on, but I'm telling you.
You know what tends to happen? You remember during the struggle when you would meet some African, they'll tell you, "Oh, you're the president, Yahya Jammeh. Oh, he's very, very good," and you are like,
"Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. What are you talking about?
But if you live in England, I think I'm going to England because it's so mediocre and third world, European countries. So
Musa, your friend is like this now. He's squeezing. He was like, he's the worst. She's the worst liberal. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be nice.
I'm not gonna be nice. They asked me to be. They asked me to be nice.
Did you see his video when he was telling them, "They just come out and vote. This is the last time you're going to vote. You don't have to do it again." We'll
they asked me when they attempted to assassinate me. they told me to be nice, and but I know these liberals, they were not nice to me. They impeached me twice. You know what?
Sarian, did you see
Huh?
the FBI?
Oh, but I told you guys,
What he said?
didn't I?
They said they have no evidence that the guy was
Didn't I say that last week? I said,
and guess what? Do you know that the band-aid is off? All of a sudden there is no more band-aid. And this with this complexion, by now he would have been black.
No, he was mad. He was on Fox News because the FBI they wanted to interview him. So you heard when Jordan asked the FBI saying that, okay, where's the blood? He says all the cartridges been recovered, but he puts a spin to it. He says we still didn't know where the bullet landed that hit his ears, right? So, yeah. So I'm telling you, the man is a sideshow, and I don't know where all these things coming from, but I'm just telling you right now, no one has records who treated him, where is the records and all that. And if you're talking about the other guy is old and fragile, I think your record to where they treated you, because that how close that ear is, if this thing hits him, I'm telling you, the brain.
Actually, it was the shrapnel that kind of.
Oh, now the narrative is shifted.
And he told people that he took a bullet for democracy.
Exactly.
But his video, his latest thing, he was, my Christian people, I love my Christian people, I'm not a Christian. But he said it so quick. They always say, always the truth will just split.
Oh, he said, I'm not a Christian.
He said that. I would send you the that is the
you know how when he picked that Bible and put it out, oh man, a lot of them were infuriated. They were like, what the hell is he doing that stuff? I mean, the guy is what it is. But one thing I know is he's been on Muslims, he's been on minorities. He thinks we are crap, and God willing, a female immigrant who has a mother from India, a father from Jamaica, is if he thinks hold up and everybody vote, who's gonna deny him the second time to the White House? And I think
and I think that Trump, if he loses, it will do two things. Of course, you're not going to have an idiot as president, an authoritarian person as president. But for a second, it will save the Republican Party. Finally, maybe the Republican Party can get their party back. It's like this guy came and just kidnapped their.
Yes, I think that would be the best thing to happen to the Republican.
No, that would be the best thing, because he's obviously gonna go off the surface now. They will regain their party, because he's not gonna be any more viable anymore. But yeah, I think J.D. Vance is a scumbag, and
it's not helping Trump. It's not helping.
Oh, I don't think I really. And the women there, the suburban. Melinda Gates says she's been voting Republican, Democrat, but he says this elections.
Yes,
I'm all in. I will knock all the door. I will donate. I will mobilize. I'll make sure the reproductive freedom is restored and upheld. That's what they said.
Yes,
we'll see.
So, Pasama, how's your candidate doing, Cornel West?
No, this Nakaratura, what's the name? This lady came and just knocked everything off. So they don't talk about anybody anymore. It's just like Kamala.
When RFK was recorded talking to Trump, was it you or somebody else?
Yeah, no, he was.
He was recorded.
He wants to be given cabinet position
when Trump wins.
I am so disappointed with this guy. I thought maybe this guy had core beliefs. Crazy.
This guy is not well. He's not different from Trump.
If you think he has core beliefs, why is he running in the first place? I mean.
No, he's not.
He was like an issue-driven person, this anti-vax, vaccination, very much.
There was this other guy, he died. He used to run for president. Every presidency he would run. In fact, I saw him one time. I went to the press club. He was there. Every presidency he would run. I forgot the name of the guy. He died now. He had people who believed in him, though. He would never have at least.
The Green Party candidate, another one too. The Green Party candidate. No.
Huh? I think, Musa, there is this question all the time, and I think Mudlamin Sanya also, as we say, many people are saying America is not ready for female president, and I think this time around, Musa, it's different because here is the thing: things that happen are leading to this point. I think people, voters especially, independents, and minorities are very scared of the Supreme Court. They think the Supreme Court is changing the laws that's been in place for 100 years and all that stuff, and giving him the opportunity or giving Trump back the White House. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, Musa, I cannot believe that folks that I served with back in the days who are diehard Republicans. They are diehard Republicans. They are telling me that he says, this guy, bro, the one guy that I was taking back, he's from Kentucky. He says, I think I'm mulling, man. I think I'm gonna end up voting for the lady woman, man, because I don't trust this guy. I think this guy is crazy. He's gonna sell our secrets and everything else for money. Everybody knew that now. So I think if they play hard, people mobilize, grassroots, and I think this can be even more consequential than Obama 2008.
There is this talk. There was a mayoral race in Los Angeles a while back, and the black guy, I think what's his name, Davis, something like that.
No, freaking, I know the one you're talking about. Yes,
he was leading big time, all the polls. But then, people didn't know that there was this segment of voters that wouldn't come out and say it, but when they walk into the polling booth, they wouldn't vote for the black man. And all of a sudden, I think it was Wilson that came up winning. So there is always
Bradley.
Yes, my brother, you know your history. The Bradley effect, they call it. And there is this talk that I hope the Bradley effect will not happen in this case. Her being a woman and a minority. I'm gonna pundit, they throw all that.
They can say that. Musa, when Obama was running, they said the same thing, right? So he went out. I think here is what Kamala needs to do, even branding her as a liberal. Right. This was a woman when she was an AG in California.
Yes.
I mean, there's a clip. You listen to her really closely where they're gonna. Her Democrats were, attacking her because she was very tough. Exactly. She was putting people. Yes. Black so you cannot, if you're saying defunding police, you cannot attack a woman who has, roll out a policy whereby, in effect, and some of these black folks out there, and Roland Martin had a segment on this and says, you know what, everybody needs to chill out and go back and learn, because basically she is the one who can explain this. Says before she ran, there was this tough sentencing for gang violence and the drug and all that stuff. So basically, what she came down, she streamlined. People naturally who will get arrested for like gang violence and drugs, then she said, you know what? We need to rebuild these families. We need to take them through they need to find a job and negotiate. And she said she teach them about consumer protection rights and all. And in fact, people were even saying, hey, why? People here who hasn't got into any trouble and all that, why are you giving opportunities? But these people, she train them, put them into a program to integrate back into society, right? So all these things, she was a tie voting she was the tiebreaker at Senate on all these bills that Biden passed for 51. So how can you blame her on all that? And I think Trump is a scumbag. The insurrection, January 6th, that is the most dangerous stuff. You beat police and kill police. You know what? All I'm gonna say, as Kamala said, bring it on. And I think Trump needs to bring it on. All right, Musa? That's it for now today.
We will be back next Sunday, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We will
you know what? You will not hear anything from me as long as the genocidal candidate is not there.
Oh my God. Stop
You don't see
calling him that. He's a good
Netanyahu
man.
was
He's a
Netanyahu was,
good
oh,
man.
Mr.
He's an
President,
honorable man.
I've known you for over 50 years. You've been a supporter of Israel for 40 years. You are an American
America
Zionist.
has been in support of Israel for longer
So
than that.
that's what I'm saying. But you know what? Nobody supported the
It is a
genocide as much
genocidal
as this
meaning,
guy.
and so is Obama, so is Bush, so
Money.
is every
Nobody
American
supported the
president.
genocide as much as he did.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
it.
Are you kidding me? Are you
This
kidding
genocide,
me?
the genocide that is happening now.
Do you remember in Lebanon what happened against the Palestinians, the murder of Sabra and Satila? I mean, I'm telling you, this has been going on for a
what
long
did you
time.
what did you call that president then? Was he supporting genocide?
Money. Bye.
Was that
You
president
are not
supporting
going to
genocide?
Steal our momentum, our excitement, our energy
Money.
to bring about
Was
change.
that president supporting genocide? Thank you very much. Sorry, you know the answer to that.
Next Sunday, same time.
All right, guys.
Inshallah.
Hey, Pasamba. This guy is crazy.